On y va. So, Veronica just came. You know now Veronica,
Yeah.
right? And so she is talking with Cheyenne about patterns. So right now she is giving a small course, advice to
Yeah.
Cheyenne.
Okay. Well, right now what we have is this pant, and we're going to do a little bit changes since we had our first fitting. What we're going to do, since we saw it on her, we saw that when she put her hand in the pocket and we folded this flap down, we noticed that there was, we needed to have more room in the pocket. It's too short. So what we're going to do is probably drop it about 1.5 inches. So, you know, we usually kind of calculate it there. So what we do is we write notes. We do our correct. We write drop the side seam pocket 1.5 inches. And when we do that, we're going to drop just this notch here. And we're going to, if the pocket ends here, we're just going to make sure our pattern goes straight down like that. We're going to curve it. This notch, this right here is a little bit complicated pattern because this is not really for a beginner. But as you can see, this is just one continuous piece. It's one piece that goes all the way around to right there. So this piece will stay, but what we're going to do is add to the side seam so that we can make this a fuller pant. So what I'm going to do is just in my notes, I'm going to write here, I usually kind of draw a little arrow where I'm going to make it fuller and where it's going to start and where I'm going to add and where I'm going to end. Kind of like that. Okay? So then we kind of analyze and say, okay, we're going to add about 2 inches here, and we're going to do it to this front piece, and we're going to do it to this piece so that our pattern can be balanced. So whatever we add here, we're going to add there, and we're going to add it to the front and the back, so our patterns could just be aligned together. And what we're going to do also, we're going to remove this elastic, and we're going to put there's something called a clear elastin, and it's usually inside some tops, like in lace tops and nylon tops. It's very skinny fabrics, thin fabrics, but it also serves to hold. So what we're going to do is put it inside here because this is a little too thick. So we're going to remove this, and in between these two panels, inside here, when they're sewing it, we're going to have it shoved in there. So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to move this. As you can see, this kind of ends in the center, a little bit off center. So when it's off center, it's kind of not good to the eye because it's either not here nor there. So if we're going to make it a good looking pant, good for the eye, we're just going to move it all the way over here. So this piece is going to end up being like this, sewn like this. So see, it just kind of ends there, but we're going to make sure this pattern piece ends there, which means it's going to sew here, and this is going to look like that. And then it's the rest is going to drape that way. Because right now we're having it drape like this. See? And it's a nice pant, but it's a little bit off center, but we want it to be, you know, saying it's really to the side. So that's what we're going to do. So in order to do that, this pattern piece, I'm going to have to change it, which is a little complicated because it's this pattern piece right here. It ends up being this, because this one is sewing to the waist. A little complicated just to even see it. But for this piece, let's see what's happening. See is where it's supposed to be open. This sews here. And then this piece folds. So it's a lot complicated, but anyways, what we do is just remove this notch here. This has a notch here, and we're just gonna move it here. That's all we're gonna do to the pattern. Everything else is good. So we're just gonna make sure our back, we add more fullness, and our front measures, and that's pretty much it, what we're gonna do, at least for this sample, okay? So that's it right now. So, and whenever we do all these additions to the pattern, what we do is after we cut it out, we could put it on the mannequin, and we could just put pins on it, and we could, before it sews, and so if we like the way it folds, we usually drape it. We kind of pin everything together, and we lay it flat on the table, and then we'll see if we like the way it looks. If we need to add more, or we need to remove some, that's when we could do it before they sew it. That's what usually I like to do. I like to see it on the mannequin a little bit, and then I usually go from there. Of course, a lot it has to do with the fabrication you're using, because some fabrics drape more than others, and some stretch a lot. So as long as we keep the same fabric, the fittings will be good. You know, we just have to always make sure to ask that, you know, you're going to use the same fabric. You're going to use the same fabric, because as the fabric changes, it just changes the whole pattern. So keeping the same fabric is very crucial. So we need to make sure we keep the same fabrication, otherwise the fit's going to change for any, you know, for any other thing. Okay? So, but when I have it on when I put it on paper, I'll show you how to do this, how to arrange this. And we'll just fix it together if you want. Okay? All right. This one's a little advanced. As you can see, it's not your basic front and back, so it's okay. Okay. Do you have questions?
What basics should you know for pattern making? Like,
what basics?
yeah, like what are the basics that you should know?
The measurements, or
like to set it up.
to set it up?
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing it depends if you're doing bottoms or tops. If you're doing tops and you're starting to make a block from scratch, you need to know their chest, their waist, the across back. You know, you measure across the person's back, and which is this right here, and you measure, you know, how deep you want your top to be. And so you start with those measurements. You'll do your bust, your waist, your high point shoulder, meaning it starts, the high point shoulder is this right here, the highest part of your shoulder to where your waist to be. So sometimes if you want a crop top, you'll see where the waist is at, and then you go, okay, I want it a little bit shorter, 2 inches shorter from the waist. That's where you go. So that'll be your measurement. So it all depends on the style you're working on, but your basic block, you just need your chest, your waist, your cross back, your front depth, your armhole, you know, your armhole. You measure your armhole, the whole measurement of your arm, you know, which is usually a drop from here to there. You know, it's usually about here, you know, and that's pretty much what you do. And then you just get your basic measurements here, how wide you want your top to be. So, you know, it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. And whatever your measurement in, like let's say your chest is 36. If you're doing a half pattern, obviously you divide that by 4. So you'll do, you know, 9. You'll do 9 inches plus your seam allowance. And your waist plus your seam allowance. That's all you do. It seems like it's real easy, but that's what you do. Okay? Any other questions you might have?
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
no problem.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, like always, Veronica. And I guess that Cheyenne is very interested
Yeah.
to work with you as well.
Okay.
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
See you tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.